everybody, I'm Teresa, and it's good to see you all again. I was taking a few weeks off because it's my summer break, and I read you chapter 14 of Amelia, Bedelia, Shapes Up a few weeks ago, and that was the last chapter. So today I'll read you chapter 1 of Amelia, Bedelia, Cleans Up, book 6. Chapter 1. Breezy, yes. Easy, no. Amelia Bedelia was as free as a bird. She was pedaling her bike as fast as she could. The wind was blowing in her face and blowing her hair straight back. Now she understood why finally her dog loved to hang her head out the car window on trips. Amelia Bedelia really wished that every day was this easy and breezy. Today she was riding all over town with her friends Holly and Heather. They zipped through the park, zooming past the babies and strollers and woofing at the dogs out for a walk. The dogs woofed right back. "Let's go this way," shouted Holly. "Follow me," yelled Heather. Amelia Bedelia raced after her friends. As she rode, she imagined changing her name to Amelia Bedelia, club president. She had been the president for about 10 minutes. Most clubs come with leaders and followers with a bunch of rules and regulations. But this club was so new that it didn't even have a name. It had been born in Amelia Bedelia's backyard when Holly and Heather had stopped by an hour earlier. "I'm bored," Holly had said. "Me too," said Heather. "We've got bikes," said Amelia Bedelia. "Let's go exploring. We can start an explorers club." "Not just exploring," said Heather. "Let's have adventures. Let's make it our job to have adventures," said Holly. Amelia Bedelia, club president. Woof, 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 woof. "Let's start the Explorers Adventure Club," said Heather. "How about the Adventuring Explorers Club?" said Holly. Amelia Bedelia just wanted to stop talking and get going, so she made a suggestion. "Let's call it our club until we come up with a good name. And let's have a rule. One rule." "What rule?" asked Holly. "No being bored," said Amelia Bedelia. "Yes," said Holly and Heather together. "That's settled," said Holly. "Now we need to choose a president." "I vote for me," said Heather. "I vote for me too," said Holly. They turned to Amelia Bedelia to cast a tie-breaking vote. "You're leaving me no choice," said Amelia Bedelia. "I have to vote for the smartest president, most adventuresome explorer I know." Holly and Heather looked at each other. Then they looked back at Amelia Bedelia. Then they asked, "Who?" "Me," said Amelia Bedelia. "What rule? What rule? What rule?" They all fell over laughing. "But can we really all be president at the same time?" asked Holly, still giggling. "We should rotate," said Heather. "Sure," said Amelia Bedelia. She stood up, turned around in a circle, then sat back down. "My dog does that when she comes into a room and sits." Said Heather, "we should take turns." "Okay, you're next," Amelia Bedelia said. Holly and Heather stood up, turned in a circle, and sat back down. Then they fell against each other, laughing some more. Heather stopped giggling long enough to ask, "Where should our club meet?" "We could meet here in my backyard," said Amelia Bedelia. "But we're an explorers club," said Holly. "We have to get out and see new places." Do new things, agreed Heather. Find a cool clubhouse, said Amelia Bedelia. Yeah, said Holly. Where can we relax and hang out? They all went back to thinking. Heather and Holly were thinking about where they could build a clubhouse. Amelia Bedelia was wondering what was so relaxing about hanging out laundry. Hey, she said silently, what is our clubhouse all about? Club all about? Having adventures, said Heather. Right, said Amelia Bedelia. So let's have an adventure. Let's go exploring and discover a clubhouse. No one had to say another word. They jumped on their bikes and away they went. Their adventure took them all over town, but they didn't find any places that seemed just right for a clubhouse. Finally, they turned back toward home. Amelia Bedelia was bringing up the rear as they biked down Pleasant Street in the oldest neighborhood in town. She slowed to get down to gaze at the largest house. It was 3 stories tall, with skinny windows covered with dark curtains. The paint was peeling, the roof was sagging, and one window at the top floor was cracked. A black cat sat on the front steps and narrowed yellow eyes at Amelia Bedelia as she rode by. It looked exactly like a haunted house on a TV show. Amelia Bedelia pedaled faster to get past it and catch up with Holly and Heather. Her 2 friends were way ahead, about to turn left. Next to the spooky house was a large vacant lot with an enormous oak tree in the center. Holly and Heather disappeared around the corner. That was when Amelia Bedelia made an adventurous decision. Making a sharp left she jumped to the curve and headed straight into the vacant lot to cut across it diagonally. If she raced through the lock, she could catch up with Holly and Heather. It was tough to keep her bike rolling over lumpy dirt and knee-high grass, but Amelia Bedelia just pedaled harder. In a few seconds, she would burst out of the bushes ahead of Heather and Holly. Just as she stood up on her pedals to go as fast as possible, her front tire wedged between a rock and a branch. The front wheel of her bike stopped, but her back wheel kept on going. So did Amelia Bedelia, sailing over her handlebars. She felt the wind rushing past her ears. Time seemed to slow down, as if she were watching herself in slow motion, soaring free as a bird. Flying upside down certainly was breezy, she thought, but Amelia Bedelia knew that her landing was not going to be easy. Bye, everybody. I will read you chapter 2 on Monday.